Right, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a Lexus IS 250 SE. This is a multimedia packed car, so it's got the sat nav and rear parking camera and Mark Levinson stereo in the car, finished in silver with a full black leather interior. Car's really nice. It's 55 plate, it's only done 66,000 miles and has a wonderful service history, all done by Lexus. At the same Lexus dealership all the way through, in fact. But just to go around the car, front of the car here, all the lights and lenses completely intact, very clean on the panels at the front here, apart from a couple of dead flies. Bonnet is all but free of stone chipping. I can hardly see one on there. It's very clean indeed. Near side of the vehicle, very clean in the panel work. No indentations at all. There is a couple of minor marks which I'm going to show you, certainly in keeping with the age and mileage of the car, but alloy on this side generally good, just a tiniest bit of pickling starting to come through, which is common on these, but these have lasted a lot better than most of them. There is a bit of curbing on the outside edge of the wheel, you just see there, which is obviously common on the near side of the vehicle, and you can see there just a little scraze which has been touched in, but that is about the sum total of the exterior marks on the car, because the rest of it is absolutely beautiful. It certainly sort of belies the age and mileage of the vehicle, in all honesty. Rear alloy very good indeed. Again, just the tiniest bit of pickling on the around the edges of the spokes, and then again very clean. I think there's just a couple of tiny little pin prick dents which you have to look very hard for. Off side of the vehicle and rear very clean again. Really does look like a mirror down that side. I mean, it genuinely has been kept very nicely. Sorry, alloy on the back there, really good. What's lovely about it is it is so original. We've done no paintwork on this vehicle at all in terms of preparation. And it doesn't look like anything's been done previously that we can see, or that's immediately obvious anyway. You know, final alloy again, bit of pickling on there as well, but you know they are original, and that's what marks this one out as being such a lovely example. Comes to the boot area, again all been kept in really fabulous condition. Nice sized boots on these Lexus, really are. A little ski hatch in there, all the tools, spare wheel, everything is completely intact, and it's the original toolkit which comes with the car. Come to the back of the car now. Offside rear door card looks pretty much as new. It's in fabulous order. Just to go to the footwell areas first, very clean. There's a tiny, you can see there is a tiniest little scag on there, which someone's caught it. And again, I think that is the only thing on the inside I could find, because the rest of it is absolutely superb. Door card on that side again looks as new, and the leatherwork is in absolutely fabulous condition. It's clean, it's crisp, and so original as well. Coming to the front now, driver's door card again, kept in really lovely condition. All switches there, all look pretty much as new. Full set of Lexus original mats in the car, all in very good order indeed. Driver's seat very good, just the tiniest bit of wear on the bolster on the way in, which you'd certainly expect given the age and mileage. We are talking about a car that's 12 years old now. But the bolster's all completely good, and then I go across to the passenger seat there. That looks pretty much as new. It looks absolutely fabulous. So sat inside the car now, as the engine's running as it has been all the way through. Passenger door card there again, just looks stunning. It's absolutely as new. Owner's manual pack, lock and wheel nut key here and present with the vehicle. Dashboard in absolutely fabulous order. It's a lovely thing to use. And you can see there, sat nav all functioning absolutely perfectly. And if I pop the car into reverse, you've got a lovely parking camera, crystal clear in colour, and you've got a little grid there as well for you. But all working exactly as it should. Coming down further, got the Mark Levinson stereo, which comes as part of the multimedia pack. And just over there and around there, you can see you've got heated and air conditioned seats on the car. But all this area down here, well, you can see it's just in beautiful condition. Come across to the main binnacle, And just a pan in there for you, hopefully. 66,335 miles, no warning lights on the vehicle at all, engine is running. Obviously auto lights and auto wipers, steering wheel looks and feels as new in my hand. But it said this car has been kept to a very, very, very high standard, far, far better than most of this age and mileage. So finally, just under the engine bay, as you'd expect from Lexus, they always make these things and present them nicely. A wonderful, wonderful engine, absolutely smooth and silent on the road. As I said, up to this point it's been serviced completely by Lexus. There was only 3,000 miles ago, but I think we've done an oil change on the car, an engine filter change as well, and it's going to go through an independent MOT. What will follow this video will be a road test of this very car. Right then, this is a road test video, and this is for a Lexus IS 250, and this is the SE model, multimedia packed car. This particular car is registered KT55YSU, and mileage at the start of this brief road test is 66,335 miles. Sorry, 335 miles. The reason we do the road tests, as I say in all of them, is very simple indeed. We want customers to see the cars physically in operation prior to coming to see us. We feel it's the right thing to do, and if there's any issues on the vehicle that need relaying back to you, we do so. So I am critical of the car if there's something untoward. The fact is, the internet's made looking for cars an awful lot easier, but obviously people are willing now to travel a lot further, but that's fraught with the potential to have your time wasted if you got there only to find out there's a fundamental issue with the car that would have stopped you buying it in the first place. So hence, that's why we do it. Also, the road test is done on exactly the same road test route as any prospective buyer will go on, so I'd hope would be representative of what you should feel yourself when you come and see and drive the car if you wish to buy it. So, starting with the engine of the vehicle, as you probably know from the walk around video, the service history of the vehicle is absolutely impeccable. That's obvious the very second you get in and drive the car. It feels absolutely as tight as a drum. The engine starts instantaneously, push button start, because obviously it's keyless start on the vehicle, settles to a all but silent idle, and as soon as you apply any revs, it's just turbine smooth. It's very, very, very quiet. It feels exactly what it is, a low mileage car. The engine pulls really hard, really well, really, really sweetly as well. It's a beautiful engine, and it's as an example of one, cannot fault it. Even if I was judging it against something with half the age or half the miles, it's absolutely perfect. Incidentally, no warning lights on the vehicle relating to the engine or any other part of the car. It all works absolutely as it should. Temperature gauge running at just under half. It's been running for quite a while now, so that is as hot as it gets, which is exactly where it wants to be on the temperature gauge on one of these cars as well. Engine then runs through into the Lexus automatic gearbox. Very typical Lexus gearbox. There it is changing gear. Can hardly feel it. You know it's changing gear because the revs sort of drop momentarily, but it's utterly smooth. What I also look for on test drive, especially on a used car of any age and any manufacturer, is just signs of slightly clunky in nature, whether it's when it's picking up drivers or any kind of delays, thuds, bangs or otherwise, which would suggest internal gearbox wear, and there's nothing on it, absolutely nothing. And it's a really lovely combination, this engine and gearbox. It doesn't always go hand in hand, automatics and engines. Sometimes they can feel a bit underpowered. I'm sure a 2-litre competitor might be slightly better on fuel, certainly in terms of government static tests, but in the real world of driving, when you're cruising along, this makes driving effortless. It's got enough power without being overly powerful, but it's got enough where you're not having to go up and down the gearbox for just simple manoeuvres. I'm driving along now, steering lovely and tight in my hands, no slop in it at all. Track's absolutely bullet straight. There's no vibrations or tram lining to the steering at all, and it's immediate. You know, you turn the wheel, it's got an immediacy to it. It doesn't feel like there's, you know, even an ounce of wear in the steering system of the car. And again, you know, it's a 12-year-old car at the end of the day, so if you've done all its miles in town centre, sort of in and out of sort of tight spots, you know, you may have some wear, but I can't feel anything through the steering of the vehicle. It feels as tight as a drum. Suspension on the car, really well judged. Again, what I'm looking for, especially on this section of road here, is you'll hear it going over the bumps, which is quite normal, but what I'm listening out for is any kind of secondary noises, sort of metallic noises, and that's normally things just like rubber bushers in the sort of drop links, anti-roll bar links, occasionally suspension struts with a bit of movement, but it just, again, absolutely solid. It really is. And they've got a really nice compromise on the car. It's very, very, very comfortable to drive, but it's also agile. You know, it's got a kind of a verve to it, which the motoring press, God bless them, they completely missed the point of when they took the car out. You know, it isn't going to beat a 3 Series around a racetrack, and there's no pretending it's going to, because it isn't. But it's sharp enough handling. It certainly handles more positively than, say, a C-Class or an Audi A4, in my opinion anyway, but it's more comfortable by a mile than the BMW. Probably similar in lots of ways to the C-Class in terms of ride comfort, but it feels more agile than a C-Class, more refined than any of them. It's just wonderfully quiet, and I'm at the legal limit now. Very, very hushed indeed, hardly any wind noise coming into the vehicle, and very little road noise as well. And incidentally, that points to the fact that, you know, door seals and windscreen is sealed very well indeed, so there's not been damaged or, you know, otherwise. Brakes on the car, have a lovely solid brake pedal on the vehicle. It went through pre-delivery inspection earlier, and the brakes were in fantastic order, as was the rest of it, in all honesty. But if I hit the brakes now, it pulls down solid, true, dead straight. There's no pulsing on the brake pedal, no vibrations, no strange noises coming back through either. Looking around inside the vehicle here now, these are wonderful cars to sit in and drive. They really are. It does feel premium, and it really does. That's an easy thing to say, but as soon as you drive it, this is a sort of a level above most cars, certainly in its class anyway. Rock solid interior. It's not even there's no squeaks, no rattles, nothing in here. It's just really, really lovely and high quality. And also a nice place to sit. You know, by modern standards, it could feel a tad old-fashioned, but I think it's all the better for it, because it means that all the major functions are dead easy to access. You got a big screen sat nav, nice and high up, dead easy to use. All push button to do, operated as well. All works absolutely perfectly. A dual zone climate control system, which is pumping out absolutely ice cold air, so there's plenty of charge in the system. Heated, air-conditioned seats, all working perfectly. I've got the air-conditioned seats on now, and I've got a nice cool backside. But you know, every switch I've pressed and touched has a kind of sort of very hard to sort of define just how high quality it feels. It just feels like a very, very well made, typically sort of Japanese sort of camcorder, shows how old I am. You know, just every switch has that beautiful actuation to it that feels like it's going to do it forever and a day, and they pretty much generally do. For those who like their music and are serious about listening to sort of music, you've got the Mark Levinson stereo, which is a really good quality stereo system in this car. So it all comes as part of the multimedia package. The main dashboard binnacle, very classy, very nicely designed. Really, you know, it's just a really nice, simple pod there with, you know, 2 equal-sized dials, all working absolutely perfectly. You've got an information display in the middle of it, giving you sort of MPGs and things like that. Auto lights, auto wipers working exactly as they should. And then you've got these paddles here if you want to use the gearbox manually. tap the gear lever to the right there, tap it down, you've got 3rd gear, 4th gear, 5th gear, and you can just go up and down the gears like that, and it you know, all the way through to 6th, sorry, I should have said, but all works really well, and that's really nice to use if you're going to be sort of overtaking a car. Automatics are great, but they haven't got eyes, they can't see what's going on ahead. So when you go to overtake and maybe back off the throttle because you think you're up to enough speed, the gearbox may want to change up, and then if you want to hoof it again, you've got to change down again, whereas that you can just control the gears you're in and maintain that gear all the way through your overtaking manoeuvre. It's a very, very good system. But you know, naturally, as I said, you know, its natural competitors will be maybe top end Volkswagen Passat or Honda Accord, that kind of thing. Only the Honda is going to be as reliable as this. All the others are nowhere near as reliable. None are as well built in the real world. I'm not talking about kind of, you know, when they come off the production line. You know, an Audi feels beautifully tough in terms of its build quality, but 12 years down the road, they just don't feel like this. And this is a different league in my opinion. But the purpose of the video, as much as anything, is to sort of feedback any issues that might be on the car, and there are none. You know, if someone comes and drives it, can find something on it that was glaring, you know, I apologise, because I cannot find anything, and I am hard on these things, and I do tell you if there's any issues. But this is a fantastic example of what is I think a wonderful car. Having said that, if I have missed anything on the video that I should have picked up on that you want to know about, then don't hesitate, please give me a call, and obviously I'll happily answer any questions you might have.